Everybody, welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. Alright, as promised, I'm going to give you guys my Nightblade PvP build on the PS4. So this is live on PS4, so I have to stream this. Then I can go back and, once I'm done with the stream and make some alterations. Alright, so let's get into it, shall we? Alright, so base stats. We have 28,000 health. We have 21.5 max stamina and 15.3 max magicka. Magic recovery is 11. Stamina recovery really good. 2,515. Our current weapon damage is 44. That's going to change. Spell and physical penetration 13,000. We have spell and physical resistance as of now, 12,770. That'll be changed as well. We have 12 allocated into magicka, 12 allocated into health, 40 into stamina. We're using Jewels of Misrule. Okay, really, really good. We're going to be using the Serpent Mundus. We are a vampire stage 3, so we can get that undeath passive. And it looks really good. Okay, now the back bar, you're going to see some slight alterations because we're going to have a little bit more max magicka, but everything else looks pretty good. The pen went down because I repositioned. So your base spell and pen, if you're not flanking, is 8-4. So if you're flanking, you get 13. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the sets. Alright, so we're going to be using Pestilence. Oh yeah. Now these are maces. Both of them are maces. Both are Nirnholm. One's lift poison. One is recovery. So if you want the other one to be disease or something, have at it. I just thought, whatever, I'll do the recovery. Now, Pestilence. You get this in Veteran Terrain Hollows. You do not need to do Vet. You can farm it on normal. But this set is pretty nasty because it gives us penetration, it gives us max stamina, it gives us weapon damage, it gives us another penetrating value. But the big kicker, now notice we have 2/5 bonuses. Whenever you kill an enemy afflicted with poison effect, their corpse releases a withering mass of fetcher flies, which seek out the nearest enemy within 12 meters, causing them to bleed for 10 seconds. Now, here's the dilly. So let me show you this. Alright? So we're going to go into stealth, and I'm going to show you how much. 38. Alright? Alright. Now 41. 41,000 over 10 seconds. That's a lot of damage. That's just the cherry, cherry on the sundae. That's all it is. So we got nice stats across the board. We're just getting an extra effect out of it. Now, you're going to want the Veteran Terrain Sword. Now, currently I have the axe, and I do need to get my sword done, but don't worry. I've already got the perfected. I just want the sword. The reason why I'll get extra weapon damage, and that'll scale my healing effect. Okay? But, you really do want this weapon. The reason being, while momentum is active, casting stamina abilities while in combat generates a stack of frenzy momentum for 20 seconds, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 29 up to 10 times. After 5 or more stacks, your next heavy attack consumes all the stacks, releasing a violent explosion of energy around you, dealing 5,115 physical damage to all enemies. It's a really nice arena set. It really is. Okay, we're going to use a one-piece Krog Light for the passive, for the pen, and, the movement speed. So, go ahead and take this. It's going to give us that extra penetrating value. So, one-piece Light. The rest is medium, so you're going to need speed with this build. Our second set is Venomous. Okay, so this is health reinforced. Even though it's medium, I want to reinforce the two of the bigger pieces. I could put one on here, but one divine really does help the recovery. If you want a little extra resistance, you can go with the reinforced, but I went with the divine, and that is Glyph Max Magica. Venomous. Why Venomous? Well, remember Pestilence, they have to die with a poison effect. We have a weapon glyph, but we're going to rely on the Venom set to do the AoE. See, it's going to give us a crit, and weapon and spell damage. Dealing critical damage inflicts Hunter's Venom on your target, right? For 10 seconds, dealing 4,044 poison damage to your target and enemies within 6 meters. So it doesn't necessarily have to be my primary target that dies. If somebody is within the vicinity and dies, that triggers the Pestilence. So as long as they die with a poison effect, right, that's going to trigger the Pestilence, right? So that's what's nice. Okay, so get the set. So we got the chest. It is an overland set. We have, that is reinforced. We have the shoulders of Venomous, well fitted, max stamina. If you want a little bit more Magica, you can put Magica on here. That's going to be your call. We're going to have Venomous belt, well fitted, max stamina. We're going to have Venomous bracers, Magica well fitted. We're going to have the guards of Pestilence, once again reinforced, max health. And then I'm going to have the Nirnhone boots of Pestilence. Now, if you want to put on Impen, you can, instead of Nirnhone and the Divine, right, and take out one of the reinforced. I just would advise against it, but that's your call. All right. Amulet of Pestilence Host, infused weapon damage. Really important here. I'm a Bosner. Okay? I'm a Bosner. I'm not whatever. Why Bosner? Why? Now, Dunmer's really good against mag DKs due to the fire resistance. I want to say that for the record. However, I'm going to get extra movement speed and penetrating value. And I'm going to get an additional stealth detection. I'm also going to get a huge stamina recovery. That allows me to put extra weapon and weapon damage in my jewelry. Then I'm also going to get disease and poison resistance. So I love Bosner. I love Wood Elf with this build. I really do. Now, we also have Ring of the Wild Hunt, Swift, weapon damage. This is your defense and your weapon at the same time. Increase your movement speed by 15% while in combat. While you're out of combat, 45%. Now add an additional 7%. Now if we go into the character and the advanced stats, look at our sprint. 162% sprint. You can cut and run. You're in medium armor. You need speed. And that's what the Ring of the Wild Hunt gives us. It gives us the speed factor. Okay? So, really nice. I really love this. And then, of course, we have Venomous Ring, Infuse, Recovery. So we have 2 weapon damages, 1 recovery. Alright. Let's get into the skills. Primary bar. We're going to use, of course, Shadowy Disguise. But look, next direct damage attack always will be a critical. What do we need to do to trigger Venomous? Do critical. So we cloak, we gap close with ambush, and then boom, triggers Venomous. They die, Fletcher flies, go flying off to our next target. Okay. We're also going to have surprise attack. Slash an enemy. Dealing 8,071. And applying the Sunder status effect. And if we hit them from the flank, they're going to get a stun. Our finisher is going to be Whirling Blades, of course. We're going to have Camouflage Hunter for the Minor Berserk on the flank. Really nice. And we're going to use Dawnbreaker of Smiting, not Incapacitating Strikes. Why? Why? Well, one thing, it offers a stun. Okay? You know, a lot of people can dodge roll Incapacitating Strikes. So you hear that little gap close, you dodge roll. It's just immediate, right? But the most important factor that we have here is the scale factor from Slayer. Okay? So we're going to get an additional 6% towards weapon and spell damage for each Fighter Guild ability slotted. Okay? So when you take a look at the buffs, and then you come in, and once we pop out, we're at 5,566. Added with the vampire passives. Right? Of Strike from the Shadows, giving us the 300. Really, really good. Now, back bar is more defensive set. We're going to have Elude. Once again, we want speed. We don't want to get slowed down. This is going to give us major evasion, reducing damage from area attacks, AoEs. But if we get hit with an AoE, we get major expedition for 6 seconds, increasing our movement speed even further by 30%. So you can cut and run when, you know, when the shit hits the fan. So, yeah. Piercing Mark. Really good against other blades. Plus, it gives us what? Major Breach. So we put a target. As always, I'm Mystic Raven. This is Mystic's MMOs. Peace.